She began recording as she pulled out her phone. She was unaware of the dramatic turn her video was about to take. As she watched a woman jump out of the back of the delivery truck, her jaw dropped. What in the world was she doing in there? Why was she wearing a tiny black dress? This undoubtedly had to violate company policy. Jenny Jackson was having a quiet morning. She sat at her bedroom window, wrapped up in a blanket, scrolling through social media on her phone. She booked the day off work to have a self-care day. She worked for a tech company and was in the middle of managing a huge project. She needed a day to distress. Jenny lived in a large neighborhood in Miami, Florida. Her neighbors constantly changed, so she didn't know many of them well. In fact, none of them really knew each other at all. They didn't nosy around in each other's business. But that all changed after Jenny caught one of her neighbors doing the unthinkable. Apart from Jenny's career in tech, she also spent her time building her social media following. Jenny was an avid TikTok user and loved watching and creating entertaining videos. She secretly wanted to be an influencer, promoting brands and creating affiliations with comedy to pay her way through life on her own terms. All she needed was one of her videos to go viral. While Jenny sat at the window, she saw yet another Amazon delivery van drive up in her neighborhood. Just as predicted, the van pulled up at the house just opposite her. By now, Jenny was convinced that this neighbor had a shopping addiction, so she decided to do what she did best. She took out her phone and hit record. She planned to make a funny video about her neighbor's day being made by yet another delivery. She prepared to film something mildly entertaining, but she had no idea her video was about to take a dramatic turn. She continued to film, but something was wrong. The driver wasn't stepping out of the van. She wondered out loud what was taking the driver so long to deliver the goods. Her hilarious commentary made the static video so much more entertaining. But just as she was about to stop filming, she saw something that would shock the nation. The back door of the Amazon van opens, and a woman wearing a black mini dress sneaks out from behind the door. The Amazon driver held the door open for her. In other situations, he may have been considered quite a gentleman for doing so, but in this scenario, it was more than a little eyebrow-raising. Jenny couldn't believe what she was capturing. She was squealing in the background. "Oh my God, what in the world am I bearing witness to? I'm pretty sure this has to be against company policy, right?" she joked. She quickly uploaded the video to social media and it blew up, but for all the wrong reasons. She filmed the woman hopping out of the Amazon delivery van and walking back to her house nearby. She walked in her bare feet, texting on her phone. Her attire, as well as her suspicious mode of transport and the unusual behavior of the two, sparked racy speculation, but the truth was far from it. Needless to say, Jenny's video spread like wildfire. Her video hit social media platforms and news channels all around America. It put Amazon under intense scrutiny on the code of conduct at their services. And it wasn't long before the driver was fired. But what actually happened? Suddenly, there was a knock at Jenny's door. Jenny opened the door to find the woman she filmed getting out of the Amazon van. She figured out that it was Jenny who secretly filmed her and published it online without her knowledge or permission. She was visibly upset. Suddenly, Jenny felt awful. She never meant for anyone to get hurt, but what the woman said next surprised her. The woman told Jenny that she wished she handled the situation better and kept her privacy intact. She also wanted to explain to her what really happened that morning. She was walking home in the early hours of the morning from a night out in the town and had lost her wallet. The driver saw her walking alone in the cold weather and took pity on her. He offered her a lift, to which she at first refused. However, she was desperate and soon accepted his offer. That was all there was to it. The driver was also adamant that nothing more happened. However, he did violate company policy by taking her in. But were the two really telling the truth? Did nothing happen? A rep for Amazon publicly stated that this does not reflect the high standards we have for our delivery service partners and their drivers. Allowing unauthorized passengers to enter delivery vehicles is a violation of Amazon policy, and the driver is no longer delivering packages to Amazon customers. But social media had been whipped up into a frenzy. It was only the beginning of the comment section of the social media platform the video was posted. Users across the platform were divided on the controversy. Some defended the Amazon driver and shamed Jenny for exposing him, while others were on her side. Some even cracked jokes to alleviate the tension that was rising between people on the platform. One person wrote, "Uploader gets a few likes. The public blew this out of proportion. The poor fellow gets shamed and cannot support his family anymore." Social media. They were clearly upset that the driver was fired. Others also felt ready to defend the driver. Why should he get punished when it wasn't any of Jenny's business in the first place? You can't get away with anything in this century with all the technology, wow, a commenter wrote. Dude is definitely getting questioned or getting fired. Best and last day working at Amazon, another user wrote. Indeed, people all knew that there were only dire consequences for the driver. Some even made jokes. She's got that Prime Plus membership, a social media user wrote. Another joked, she got that Prime deal. Amazon is taking over every industry, and wow, Amazon does everything now. These jokes are meant to alleviate the tension between all sides, but there was still a side that thought the firing was justified. What did they have to say? Some commenters were glad that the employee was fired. One said, "It's good that he was sacked. He violated company policy, and who knows what was going on in that van." Another wrote, "Heavens forbid Amazon to start letting this happen. Who knows what could happen next? Kidnappings?" Maybe they did have a point. The comments weren't over yet. The social media page where Jenny had posted, it was active every minute of every day. But how did Jenny feel about her post blowing up so much? She never thought things would take a turn like this when she innocently recorded what she had seen. Things had gone very far, and was she happy with them? Jenny never expected things to take a turn like this. She didn't necessarily want the driver fired, especially after the confrontation with the woman from the video. Was she really in the wrong? She had a mixture of feelings swirling around in her head. She couldn't blame herself. At the end of the day, the Amazon driver had broken policy after all. But who was the driver? Until now, no one had known who the driver was. Jenny had met the woman from the video when she confronted her, but she had no idea who the driver was. Unbeknownst to her, the driver knew her from the post. He was disgruntled, to say the least, and would be looking for a way to make himself feel better. That's why he'd come knocking too. The post and some of the comments ridiculed the driver, but the supposed truth had been explained to Jenny. There was only speculation as to what went down, and the real truth would be between the driver and the woman. But the Amazon driver was still a normal person with hopes and dreams. What would his opinion on everything be when he found Jenny? It had not been weeks since Jenny had posted the video. She was still nervous about wronging people who may be innocent. That's when she got a message on social media. It was a friend request from a man named Brian Edwards. She didn't recognize the name, but she accepted the request anyway. But she had no idea what that would lead to. Soon after she accepted the friend request, she heard a ping and saw that he had messaged her. She felt nervous checking what it said, but her curiosity drove her to see what he had to say. She put her hand over her mouth when she read the message. It read, "The Amazon driver was known." Brian Edwards was the man from the viral video that had been scrutinized by thousands of people on the internet. He clearly had his own feelings about the matter, and it seemed he'd take them out on Jenny for starting it all. But the question on her mind was, what did he want? Against her better judgment, Jenny decided to meet with the driver. She arranged for it to be in a public place so she'd be safe. He was happy to oblige the request, and they met at a cafe near her house. She sat nervously at the cafe until she saw a man approach her. He asked if he was Jenny and then sat across from her. Then he told her everything. Brian sat down beside Jenny and told her his side of the story. It matched up perfectly with the woman from the video. She was stranded in the rain on her own and needed a lift. He knew it was against company policy, but he couldn't leave her out on her own. What if something happened to her? He just had no idea that it would cost him so much. After he got everything off of his chest, he told Jenny that he didn't hold a grudge against her. He took a risk in helping that woman, and it didn't pay off. He sighed before wishing her well and walking away. Jenny sat there just as confused as before. She was bewildered. Who was right? Was this all an elaborate lie to cover up a fling in a van, or was he telling the truth? She'd never know. In order to protect the privacy of those depicted, some names, locations, and identifying characteristics have been changed and are products of the author's imagination. Any resemblances to actual events or places or persons, living or dead, are entirely coincidental.